right, man. Listen up, everybody. It's Falan Speaks. I'm back here. This here is a sports video. As you know, people who follow my channel, I'm big on sports. I watch football, boxing, basketball, right? But here, this is ESPN's first take, and Max Kellerman, he's at it again with his stupid analysis that I think are indicative of things he really cannot believe. It's impossible that someone who's supposedly as smart as he is, they would really believe this stuff. But here, I want you guys to hear what he's saying and what I mean by it. And I'm going to just go ahead and chime in and refute things and clarify things where need be.
How much is Wentz to blame for the Eagles' struggle?
I got to give him a lot of blame. If it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes, Wentz to me would be that guy. He has that much ability.
Pennsylvania.
Right? He can do things other guys just can't do, and he is tough as nails. Like, I was at the Rams game where his whole leg came off, and he's 3 more plays after that he's completing plays. He's tough. And by the way, you never hear something like he's a bad guy. He doesn't work hard. He wants to do all the right things. But look at the way the team functions. The team, all phases of the game. When he's the quarterback versus Foles.
So you're saying it's a leadership issue, not a talent issue?
It may be unfair because Foles may have some extra special pixie dust that other normal dudes don't have, right? But just look, they were flat last year. Stephen A. brought up 5-6 under Wentz. They made a run into the playoffs. They won a game at Soldier Field against one of the teams a lot of people were picking to win the Super Bowl. Then they went to another place where it's impossible to win, lost by 1 score, and almost pulled that off. And that was in a Super Bowl title defense where Nick Foles won the MVP the year before.
All right. First of all, none of this stuff he's saying would apply to 2017. 2017 was the year that Carson Wentz had led the Philadelphia Eagles to an 11-1 record and was on his way to possibly being the league MVP. So none of that applies. Nick Foles did not perform any better than Carson Wentz did that particular year. Carson Wentz was the leader of the team. Everybody recognized him as the leader of the team. All the other players were performing at peak level, and everything was good. What had happened was Carson Wentz had got hurt in Week 13 against the Los Angeles Rams, and the rest is history. Everyone knows. Nick Foles came in, played a very mediocre game against the New York Giants, but we were able to win that game. He played horrible against the Oakland Raiders, which is a game I think we somehow did find a way to win. And then we ended out that season against Dallas where we sat pretty much everyone and lost. Okay, so Nick Foles had a mediocre game, and he had a horrible game. Going into that week against the Falcons, which was the first playoff game, 2017, really the city and the team, they were not really confident. What had happened was during that year, as everyone can attest to it, was that the city took on this underdog mentality. This is what the rest of the players went on. We were like at home, and the Falcons were coming in. We were the underdog. No one thought we were going to win. The Falcons were actually favored to win the game because of that. And the team took on this mentality that, hey, look, nobody believes in us, so it's us against the world, which we know oftentimes in sports is a great motivator. And they played well and win the game. Well, actually, Nick Foles played awful in the first half. He was not hitting people in target at first. He was not on target. Doug Peterson, the coach, started to run the ball with LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi, which really held us in that game. We somehow pulled it out in the end with Matt Ryan failing to connect with Julio Jones there. All right. So then we went on and with that momentum, had a great game against the Minnesota Vikings where Foles actually started off slow against them. What triggered that game was an interception by Peter, our cornerback number 21, my man that I wish we would have kept. I forget his name, unfortunately. He returned the interception, Patrick. He returned the interception for the touchdown, and then the rest was history. And then where Foles really shined was against the Patriots on Monday night. But everybody knows that there was this underdog mentality. It was to the point where people in the city were wearing the dog masks, right? There was this big momentum thing. It wasn't so much about, okay, Foles just being his leader and everything. All right, as Max is trying to point out. Now, what Max is doing is he's going based off of some article that was written by a guy who wrote an article last season. This was after Wentz, who was coming off of an ACL tear that everyone knows. In the week 3, he was probably rushed back earlier because as far as the timetable goes, he came back like totally at the beginning of the timetable. And he actually didn't perform that bad last year. He really, if you look at his quarterback rating, it was similar to 2017. However, the team lost, didn't have a really, really good winning record, and it was for a number of different factors that really wasn't all about Carson Wentz. We did not come back with Torrey Smith, who stretched the field in 2017. We went with Mike Wallace to try to take that spot. Mike Wallace, however, never made it to the field. He went out with an injury. So we didn't really have that speedster. So you really couldn't compare the Eagles of 2018 to 2017. It was a completely different team. LeGarrette Blount was not there. Jay Ajayi was hurt. There was practically no running game. So a lot of that had to do with our failure to perform. All right, now Carson Wentz, eventually the team decided to shut him down after we had lost the second game to the Dallas Cowboys. And, it is what it is. So they sat him down. Nick Foles came in and helped us to win. And it was very impressive. We beat the Rams. We beat the Texans. And I forget some other teams here. And I think there was a little bit of nostalgia that did come back to the city and to the team, no doubt about it. It was that team led by Nick Foles that led us to winning the Super Bowl. But let's be honest, when Nick Foles actually played against the Chicago Bears, he did not play well. He threw like 2 interceptions in the first half. All right, and it was a tough, hard-fought defensive game. I would actually argue that the defense was more responsible for us beating the Bears. I mean, I have no reason to believe Carson Wentz cannot have performed as well as Nick Foles did against the Bears. I mean, that's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? And then against the Saints, Nick Foles, after those first two drives where we scored 14-0, he pretty much went dry that whole time, always towards the end of the game. And I blame Doug a lot for this. Not even Nick. I don't blame Nick. I blame Doug. Doug, after we were up 14-0, Sean Payton, the coach of the Saints, went and made adjustments. They made defensive and offensive adjustments, and the Eagles failed to adjust to their adjustments, and that played a bigger part in us losing. And I'm not even going to get into the number of injuries. We had like 11 people injured, and significant guys that we needed, and I mean there was a whole lot of reasons.
4, why is it suddenly that we have firefighters or good Samaritans making jokes about Aguilar on social media, right? Yeah. Why are receivers dropping passes? Why is the offensive line, and to me it looks like sometimes giving up on the play? Like, what is this all about? Whatever it is, Carson Wentz has to figure out.
This is the stupidest thing that I've ever heard. He's trying to imply that Nelson Aguilar is dropping a pass because Carson Wentz is throwing it to him because he don't want to play for Carson Wentz. That Jason Peters and people like that on the line are missing blocks because of who the quarterback is. Are you crazy? You can tell this guy right here has not an athletic bone in his body. He's never played sports. Let me tell you something about that. The mentality of the average NFL player. NFL players, of course, they play for the team. They buy into the team concepts. They like their teammates and all of that. But that is never going to dictate why an NFL player plays. Nelson Aguilar is going to catch the ball or try to catch a ball because Nelson Aguilar is concerned about Nelson Aguilar's stats. Nelson Aguilar is concerned about Nelson Aguilar's money, his own contract. Nelson Aguilar knows that he's on the last year of his deal and that he's going to have to go sit before the GM to either work out a new deal or get traded. He is worried about that. The last thing Nelson Aguilar is thinking about is, okay, is it Carson Wentz or is it Nick Foles as the quarterback? So what Max is saying is retarded. It's like it's another stupid take of his that is a television creation in order to, I guess, attract more listeners. It is ridiculous. It's so stupid and so irrational that, like, I mean, I can't believe this guy isn't being talked to by producers and told to just, like, stop with the dumb stuff because you're too smart. You're not Ryan Hollins. Come on, man.
A way to get guys to want to play with him and for him differently than he is now. He's got to evolve as a leader.
I'm looking at Peterson. I'm looking at
the stupidest stuff I ever heard. This dude is retarded. Like, what the hell are you talking about? It's not about no damn Carson Wentz being the leader of the team. You got to catch the ball because you're a wide receiver. That's your damn job. Same thing with everybody else. That has nothing to do with that. That's the stupidest thing there is, and it's so, like, oh, man. Let me tell you something about why the Eagles are struggling right now, okay? Week 1, there wasn't this problem. Week 1, we just straight destroyed the Washington Redskins, all right? As far as the way the offense looked and everything, that second half, Eagles dominated. We were passing the ball to Deshaun Jackson. We were passing the ball to Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz. Everything was going well because we had our number 1, number 2 receiver who Carson Wentz was working with all offseason and were in rhythm with, and who knew all the plays, etc. The second week going into the game against Atlanta Falcons, we were the heavy favorites. However, okay, right before the damn game starts, or they said in the beginning of the game, I don't know, Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson goes out. What the heck is going on with that? They're both out, okay? So that's right there. How many quarterbacks do you know in this league would play a perfect game after they lost their first and the second receivers? I don't give a damn if you Patrick Mahomes. If Patrick Mahomes going into the game, loses Sammy Watkins and loses Tyreek Hill, or whoever's their second guy, whoever's their guy right now, who he's been training with all week, what the hell would he look like? There's no way he's going to put up 4 touchdowns in a quarter and all that kind of stuff. I don't care who you are. Because in football, you need the quarterback and the receiver to be on the same page. And Zach Ertz even said, Zach Ertz was yelling at certain receivers who were in there, about going this way and going that way. These guys didn't even know all the routes. And Carson likes to change up plays. He likes to call audibles. So that receiver also, not only does that receiver need to know their routes and know their plays, but they also have to know Carson's particular audibles and things like that. And when those things are out of whack, when those things are not present, there's going to be a struggle and there's going to be an adjustment period that is needed. Okay, and right now the Eagles are going through that adjustment period.
the head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. We talk about Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, guess what? If we're going to rave about the fact that Nick Foles won a Super Bowl and Carson Wentz didn't because he was injured, well, who was the head coach at that time? How are you calling plays? How ready are you having your personnel? Deshaun Jackson wasn't dropping passes. Nelson Aguilar has dropped.
Exactly.
Dropped some passes. Alshon Jeffrey's been hurt. You look at this kid Whiteside, we're bringing him up. You drop passes, like you pointed out during the commercial. 2 dropped passes will give you 2 victories if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what it came down to. So I'm looking at it from that perspective, and I'm saying, excuse me, I got to look at the head coach of this franchise. If you're going to talk to me about guys not blocking, not doing their job, I'm not looking at Carson Wentz. What possible excuse can you have if you stand around and you're not blocking and that's your job? You're going to blame the quarterback for that? This ain't Any Given Sunday with Jamie Foxx and LL and those boys. This is real life football.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. This ain't no damn movie, man. Hey, what the hell's Max talking about? Ain't no damn movie. These dudes have jobs. These dudes are worried about their check. They're worried about their stats. They're not going to just play or not play based off of who the hell the quarterback is. Come on, man. Anyway, man, I wasn't going to hold y'all too long. That's pretty much all I got. Yeah, so next time, just subscribe to Flat Speech. Give me a like, man. I appreciate all of that. Until next time, I'm out.